One day, he went out for a little lime after work. But you know, in every home, in every household, there are rules. Do you have rules in your house? House rules, right? Well, Shankaran Pillai, his wife had one rule for him. And that rule was, on a Friday night, you must be home no later than 8 p.m. Jai Ho. What a rule, pressure. So Shankaran Pillai, when he was on his way from work, he looked at his clock and it was about 15 minutes to 8. And he's thinking, I am not going to reach home 15 minutes earlier. That is advantage. So he decided he will stop at a bar, a local bar, and he would have a little beverage. So he had just a little beverage. And then he looked at the time and he said, I still have time. So he had another little beverage, and then a little beverage, and a little beverage after that. Are Jai Ho. The time came and he looked down and he was like this. He's looking, Are 2 a.m. And he decided, I better get home quickly. So on his way home, he starts walking, but he's not walking straight. He's like this now, and he's thinking, which madman? This is a round planet. This is not a flat planet, and the earth is always spinning on its axis. How can you walk straight? So he's justifying, I must walk like this. And as he's walking like this, he fell into a bush. Fell down into the bush of rose gardens. And you know what rose has? They have thorns or picker? Oh, thorns. And therefore, he got his entire body, his face included, got really scratched up, scraped up with the thorns. Are Shankaran Pillai reaches home now. He is looking at the key and he's thinking, which madman designed such a small hole to fit this key? And he is trying to get the key into the hole. He finally opens the door. So now it's after 2 in the morning. And he goes into the bathroom, and when he looks at himself in the mirror, he is seeing so many cuts on his faces. So he goes to the first aid kit, he pulls out a number of plasters, and he takes care of all the cuts that he saw in the mirror. So he went to bed now, but his wife, she snores, sleeps very, very sound, so she didn't have a clue that he got into bed. So he thought, I got away. So the next morning, a bucket of cold water thrown on him. Wake up! And he's up now, he's thinking, why are you waking me up like this? It's Sunday morning, we will get to temple on time. Saturday morning? Oh, Saturday morning, okay. And his wife said, you were out drinking. And he said, no, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol in the past 6 months. Didn't I promise you? Now these are little conversations that happen within the homes, right? This is not scripture. So his wife said, yes, you were out drinking. He said, no, Mom, I wasn't drinking. I was not drinking at all. Because he's still a little slurring, right? So she said, come, let me take you into the bathroom. As he got into the bathroom, he saw on the mirror, all the plasters were put on the mirror. No case. He lost. You see, it's a comical story, but there's a deep message in this story. You see, whenever we feel unpleasant in life, have you ever felt unpleasant? You know what unpleasant looks like? Angry. You know what unpleasant looks like? Hurt. You know what unpleasant looks like? Sadness. You know what unpleasant looks like? Disappointment. You know what unpleasant looks like? When someone wrongfully ridicules you and chastises you. That is what unpleasant looks like. It takes on many complexions in life. But this very simple story that I've given to you, comical because I want you to remember it. It is that when life feels unpleasant, we should not go around our world thinking that you are the reason, you are the fault, you have caused my pain, you are the reason why I feel this way. The wife is the reason that I've been hurt, or the husband is the one who always comes home late, or the children and like this. When we go around our life trying to assign and ascribe blame and fault to someone else for the way we feel, it is no different from Shankaran Pillai looking at himself in the mirror, seeing the wounds, but putting the plaster on the mirror itself. Sati says, wow. Did you all witness the sunrise this morning? Did you all witness it? No? How many of you witnessed the sunrise this morning? Please show me your hand. I didn't mean it coming up from the horizon, but at least saw the sun for the morning. Please show me your hands. Good. At the time of sunrise, if this is east, that is west, that is north, and that is south, please point to me the direction of which the sun rose this morning. Please show me. So, right? And from wherever you are sitting this morning, please point where I am sitting. You will say, Panditji, what kind of elementary school thing is this? You see, I am actually, your perception of me sitting is not here. Your perception of me is when the light hits me, reflects, comes into your retina, gets inverted, you know the drill, right? And then your brain gets a signal, oh, that's Panditji sitting over there. So your experience, I may be sitting here, but your experience of me sitting here, it is not here. Your experience of me is in here. And therefore, from your vantage, I am not sitting over there. From your vantage, if I am you, I am sitting over here. I am looking at every single one of you this morning, and I am not experiencing you there. I am experiencing you in here. And therefore, when life is pleasant, when life is sweet, when things go your way, when things are favorable, you would say, oh, I love this person. Look how she makes me feel. Look how what he does for me. Look at what my boss allows me to do at my job. Look how fulfilled that person allows me to experience in life, the fulfillment. It is not the person. It is your experience. It is your inner world that is processing what is happening out there. And therefore, on the ulta, on the contrary, when something happens on the outside, when someone does something or when someone does not do something, whatever it is that causes an unpleasantness in your life, it is not the other person, it is not the event, it is not the experience out there that is causing that unpleasantness. It is your processing of what has happened that is causing this sense of discomfort. Today, would you agree that if you think about your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents, would you say that we are living a higher standard of living in terms of the comforts that we enjoy? Are we? Absolutely. Can you think 20 years ago, 10 years ago, bhai, you know, when I was courting, I used to show off when I went down to Ella's home. I had a cell phone. And I used to make sure that that phone rang every time I got to the house, so that everybody will see I had a cell phone. That was a luxury device back then. Eh? That's how she married me. Cell phone. That's not true. It was the black hair. But think about 30 years ago, 50 years ago, the luxuries, the things that we take for granted now, the comforts that we have in life, really are better today. But today, based on all these comforts, can you say that we are more a peaceful people? Can you say, look around, not just you I'm talking about, look around what's happening in society. Can you say that this society that we're living in is more peaceful today than our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents? Are they? Are we? No. Are we more compassionate? Are we more giving? Are we more loving? Some of you are saying no, but because we start by saying no, no, no. Think about it. We have become a society where we are living a better standard of living, but the quality of life has not trailed, has not followed in that direction. And one of the primary reasons for that, it is because we have mortgaged our happiness, we have mortgaged our peace, we have mortgaged that sense of well-being to the external world. So when the external world is favorable, we're happy, we're loving, we can give, we're generous, we love everybody. But when this world, the external world, is not meeting our expectation, what happens? You're at fault. It is your problem. This is the reason why things are happening, and we go around putting plasters on the mirrors. Everybody know what a chimpanzee looks like, right? Study scratching, right? Do you know what's the difference between your genetic coding, your DNA? What is DNA again? Deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Good, thanks. So the DNA difference between you and a chimpanzee, and I'm doing this deliberately because that is what we picture monkeys doing, right? Yeah? You want to do a little thing too? Do you know that the difference genetically between ourselves as human beings and a chimpanzee, it is 1.23% difference? Can you imagine? That's a very close difference, right? It is almost as though genetically, from a genetic coding standpoint, we're very, very similar. And some would say, Panditji, the difference between ourselves and the monkeys or the chimpanzees, it is that we have more intelligence. Well, I'm asking you about the fix. Is it because sometimes of our intelligence that we feel unpleasant? Think about this question for a moment. Is it because of our intelligence that sometimes we feel unpleasant? You know, sometimes those individuals who smokes a little chilam, marijuana, the scientists have given that the response, the body's response to marijuana, it stimulates a certain hormone within the body, a chemical within the body. You know what it's called? It's called anandamide. I am not joking. You know what anand means? Anand means bliss. And therefore they've given the name of the chemical reaction in the body. When someone smokes marijuana, they call it anandamide. It means that when they have that intake, they get a fix of blissfulness. But this human body does not require an external stimulant to experience the very same high. My sister there, she's very much into understanding yoga and the energy patterns and harnessing. And those who understand this body well will tell you that from the human standpoint, sometimes it is our intelligence that gets in the way of enjoying peace. It is sometimes our intelligence. You know why? Because we say that, you know, Keith really should not have said this. My upbringing said, you know, this is the standard way a person must behave. When I do something for someone, they must show a little gratitude, no? And when that person does not show gratitude, the intellect, the intelligence is saying, but why would Keith behave like that? And therefore we start getting angry with Keith because Keith should know better. Sometimes if we take the intelligence and throw it away, we will be a happier person. And the point I'm making to you this morning, it is that even the intelligence that we apply to our world, it is like a plaster. We're looking for plasters out there. So we blame someone else, we blame an experience, and if we really want to get critical, we can say it is the way that we rationalize this world that can cause some of the problems. So as we conclude this morning, I want to leave with you a very beautiful story. It is about this man who wants to go to heaven. Is there any one of you here who would not like to go to heaven? Please show me your hands. Who would not like to go to heaven? Let me ask it another way. Is there any one of you here who would like to go to heaven? Please show me your hands. There's a smart aleck in the room. Someone says, I would love to go, but not right now. Why do you want to go to heaven? Are Jayu Baba, I really never thought about that. Why do you want to go to heaven? You see, heaven, based on our upbringing, it is a promissory note of an experience that we have not yet brought into our horizon. And for many people, the experience of heaven is desirous, is attractive. You know why? Because we would have made a hell out of our life right here. That is when heaven becomes attractive. Why do we want to die to go to heaven? Have you ever recalled? Or is there a convincing story in a book that speaks about a heaven? Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, all the good books speak about a heaven. But why is it that we want, and I'm not saying there is no heaven, I'm asking, why do you want to wait to die to experience heaven? And the reason for that is because many of us literally have made a hell of our lives. And because we're not happy with how things are today, well, don't worry. When we die, we will go to, where you'll go? Heaven. The reason why that we mortgage, whether we're looking to God to give us happiness, whether we're looking for a fix to give us happiness, whether we're looking at a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a child, to give us that happiness, it is because it is no different from our human perspective of heaven as well. We are looking for that fix out there. And if we can't get it now, well, we believe in heaven. And we believe in a life after death. I am not saying that there is no heaven, and I'm not saying there is no life after death. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, if you're waiting for that time to come to experience peacefulness and happiness and joyfulness and being compassionate, then my friends, we are not very happy with the person that we are now. Sadhguru Jagi Vasudev, when people come to his ashram, very rich people, very accomplished people with positions and all of these things. Many times people go to the ashram, not all, some people go because they want higher knowledge. But he says many people come to the ashram because they've had it with life. Relationships are gone sour, the business has turned upside down, all the disappointments. Someone once made a joke with me recently. I said, you know, there's a really nice following on the ISHA movement. They say, yes, because people who pray are people who have problems. You don't have problems, I know that. Well, we all have challenges. But like this, he's saying, the people who come to the ashram thinking that they will come there with this magical wand and they will find peace and happiness and joy. You know what he says to them? He says, come to the ashram and I will take you away from all the bitterness and the troubles and the deviations of the world. I will put you into a room. You don't have to do anything. Nobody you will see in this world. We will bring all the nice food and give it to you to enjoy. But we will leave you in the room. He says you can imagine what jhanjat has happened after day 2 and day 3 and day 5. These people who were quarreling about the agitations of the world that they were running away from, put them alone in a room and he says, see what happens. And he says the moment that you are unhappy or you feel discomfort in being by yourself for an extended period of time, he says it is because you are not the person that you should be in the first place. What a very beautiful concept. And therefore, as I conclude this morning, I want you to appreciate that the solutions and the fixes that we're looking for in this world will never come permanently, sustainably on the outside. Things will always happen to you in life. I guarantee you this. Things will always happen to you in life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's health, whether it's finance, whether it's something physical that happens to you. Things will always happen to you in life. But the fix, the solution, the joy and the peace that you're looking for should never come by trying to put the plasters in your outside world to adjust the frame of reference out there. The solution that must come must be when you put the plaster. If the problem is here, then the solution must also belong right here. Have I said enough? Prem se bolo Shri Umapati Mahadev ki. Brahma Murari Surarchita Lingam Nirmal Bhakshit Shobhita Lingam. Bolo.
Brahma Murari Surarchita Lingam Nirmal Bhakshit Shobhita Lingam Janma Jadura Vinashita Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shiva Lingam
Tat Pranamami Sada Shiva Lingam. Hare Brahma Murari Surarchita Lingam
Nirmala Bhakshita Shobhita Lingam Janma Jadura Vinashita Lingam Tat Pranamami Tat Pranamami Tat Pranamami Sada Shiva Tat Pranamami Tat Pranamami Tat Pranamami Sada Shiva Lingam
Deva Muni Prabharachita Lingam
Avadaham Karunakara Lingam
सेवितलिङ्गम्
मुनिविवाहनकारणलिङ्गं सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं
कनक महामणिभूषितलिङ्गम्
मणिमणिवेशितशोभितलिङ्गं दक्षसूर्यविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गम्
ॐ नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर महादेव
ॐ नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय
कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गम्
पाङ्गजहारसुशोभितलिङ्गं सच्चिदपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं
देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गम्
आविर्भक्तिपरिवचलिङ्गं दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गम्
अष्टदलोपरिवेक्षितलिङ्गम्
सर्वसमुद्भवकारिणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्रविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गम्
सुरगुरु सुरवर पूजितलिङ्गम्
सुरवन पुष्पसदाजितलिङ्गं परात्परमपरमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गं तत्र नमामि सदाशिवलिङ्गम्
ॐ नमः शिवाय
हरि ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हरि ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
शिवेन सह पते पतये हर 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 महादेव
नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव
नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव अरे जय हो
पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव
नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव
नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव
नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव 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 हर 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 महादेव। प्रेम से बोलो श्री उमापति महादेव की तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिंगम।
Long time ago, there was a tortoise and a hare who had an argument about who the faster runner was. They finally decided to take on one another on a race. The race started, the hare sprinted ahead briskly for some time. Realizing it will take some time for the tortoise to catch up to him, he decided to seek shelter from the sun under a tree before continuing the race. As he sat under the tree, he gradually fell asleep. The tortoise, crawling at a steady pace, eventually overtook him and won the race. The hare woke up and realized that his complacency cost him the trophy. The moral of that story is that the determined, hard-working, and steady-paced people will eventually overtake the fast but complacent. We are all familiar with this story. But wait, the story does not end there. When the hare realized that he was overconfident, complacent, and took things too easily, he decided to have a rematch with the tortoise. The tortoise accepted his challenge. This time, the hare ran with all his might and didn't stop until he crossed the finish line. The moral of the story: fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. But the story still doesn't end here. This time, it was a tortoise that did the soul searching, and he realized that if the hare didn't stop, there is no way he would beat him. He thought hard and decided on a different course and challenged the hare to another rematch. The hare, of course, agreed. With the lesson learned from the previous failure in mind, the hare kept on running once the race started and didn't stop until the route led him to the bank of a river. He was taken by surprise, and he didn't know what to do since he could not swim. There were no bridges in sight and no one to ask for directions. As he was cracking his head, thinking of a way to cross the river, the tortoise strolled slowly, dived into the river, swam across it, and ultimately finished the race before the hare. The moral of the story: know your strengths and develop it. Hold on, because the story still hasn't ended. With the hare and the tortoise spending so much time together racing, they have become rather good friends. They have also developed mutual respect for one another as they realize that they both are different. They have different strengths. They decided to race again, but this time as a team. As the race started, the hare carried the tortoise, and they sped to the riverbank. There they switched positions, and the tortoise ferried the hare across the river. On the opposite bank, the hare again carried the tortoise, and they crossed the finish line together. They completed the race in a recorded time that both of them could not achieve if they were to do it alone. They also felt a greater sense of satisfaction that they didn't feel before. You see, folks, the life lesson in this story is simple. It's good to be individually brilliant, but unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else's does well. Teamwork is mainly about this situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant skills for the situation take lead. This made me remember a verse from the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna said, Yad yada charati srestas tattadevo taro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastar anuvaitate. This means whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. As we the members of ISHA, Kirtan and Aachaaryas youth group, we strive to be exemplars to our fellow brothers and sisters. We attempt to be like the tortoise and the hare. Note that neither the hare nor the tortoise gave up after failures. The hare decided to work harder and put more effort after his failure. The tortoise decided to change his strategy because he was already working as hard as he could, but he was not doing as well as he wished. In this day and age, when the environment changes at lightning speed, we have to learn to work with people who have strengths in areas that we do not have. This will lead to a feeling of accomplishment that we never felt before. Jai Shri Krishna.
जरा चेहरे से कमली को हटा दो यार रसूल अल्लाह, हमें भी अपना दीवाना बना दो यार रसूल अल्लाह. Today being Eid, let's conclude in a very beautiful rendition, a surrender to the Almighty Allah. जरा चेहरे से कमी को हटा दो यार रसूल अल्लाह, जरा चेहरे से कमी को हटा दो यार रसूल अल्लाह, हमें भी अपना दीवाना बना दो यार रसूल अल्लाह, जरा चेहरे से कमली को हटा दो यार रसूल अल्लाह, हटा दो यार रसूल